I don't get it. Beats me. Here I am in the subway minding my own business. Why do you got to cop an attitude and ask me, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? Are you looking at me? Maybe the easy part is disabusing you of the notion that you could have served as a poor substitute for De Niro in Taxi Driver. I can pretty much establish that you couldn't even get away with calling it a cheap impersonation. I don't need to run a statistical regression analysis or disprove the hypothesis. The point is that I'm staring in your general direction and you think I'm looking at you. Well, consider this. If I've got no reason to look at you, then chances are I'm not looking at you. Even if it looks like I am. Well, what do you mean, how is that possible? Because if I'm daydreaming, if I'm in deep thought, if I fall into reverie, I can't control in what direction I'm looking. Chances are I'm looking inward. Believe it or not, when you're contemplating, your eyes might actually look inward. But you can't notice such a subtle thing. Because ironically, while I'm being self-absorbed on the inside, you're being self-absorbed on the outside. Looking out at me or other people to see if you've got an audience so you can go out of your way to be bothered about having one. You assume somebody's looking at you. Looking at you. Looking at you. You sound like Tommy 3 times, who says everything thrice. Not twice, but thrice. Again, ironically, you're the one looking at us. You're the one staring at us. How do you know I'm not on my way to an audition and I'm looking at you as the guy whose life I'm supposed to save? I mean, you couldn't even ask a question in a way that double checks whether you might be wrong. I mean, you couldn't try asking with a dumbfounded diplomacy of Detective Columbo. I mean, I'm actually talking to you like him as I'm giving you advice in order to illustrate the point. I mean, couldn't you say, excuse me, I couldn't help but notice that you're looking in my general direction, and I don't mean to make assumptions, but I was wondering if you were looking at me, and if so, why? No, instead, you ask the question. When you ask the question, you go right for the jugular. Well, guess what? Nobody's looking at you. You might be a street-smart survivor or a snot-nosed suburbanite, right? Regardless, no matter. Nobody's looking at you. By the way, let me make it clear. That includes me. I'm not looking at you. Again, ironically, I'm the one minding my own business, but you're looking at me. You're looking at me. Like right now, you're looking at me. Maybe my impersonation of De Niro might not be as good as yours, but it probably is. It's probably better. And it's more justified. And I got a more solid pretext to resort to it. I don't know. I'm just asking. Like Lieutenant Columbo. I mean, if you want to avoid the possibility that somebody might look in your general direction, do me a favor. Rent a limo. So you'll have all the privacy you want. And you can pick and choose who gets to be in your plain sight. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to return to my yellow brick road of quiet contemplation and productive daydreams. Reverie, reflections, and retrospections. Oh my.